I ended up getting in an accident and I ended up totaling that car. What's going on, you guys? Thank you so much for joining me back on the YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. Today's going to be a little different. I don't have much planned or anything because of the quarantine and stuff. So I thought I would come out to the ranch. I got my mask because, if you know, California is now mandating it. It's like a law now. You have to have a mask every time you leave the house, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, I just wanted to make this video, and it might be a little longer. It's basically going to be a story time. So I have this story I've been wanting to tell for a while. I think you guys are going to like it a lot. But so it all started my junior year. My junior year, I was obsessed with cars. I still am. And I found this car. And okay, so mind you, my first car was a 2008 Dodge Nitro, which is basically a toaster. It looks like a toaster. And this car is great. It's super heavy, you know, super sturdy. It's a great first car for anyone looking for a first car. And I loved that car. I had it for about a year and I decided it was time for something different. And, you know, so I spent the whole, basically, you know, time this was going on, I guess, looking for a new car. I wanted something more sporty. I played Forza. My dad had a 95 Ferrari he bought a few years prior to that, so I was totally in the whole like sports car, you know, I was obsessed, right? And so I found this 2003 Maserati Corsa. And I don't know if you know anything about this car, but it's a great car. I love this car. It sounds great. And I did a whole bunch of research on it, and I found this car for about, I think it was 18,000 or 18,500 or something. I think it had 50,000 miles, which if you know anything about Maserati, that's like just broken in basically. So it was super low miles. I basically assumed it had reached, you know, base depreciation. It wasn't gonna go down any more than that. So I actually went out to LA. It was in LA, it was in Hawthorne actually. And we went out and checked it out. Somehow ended up driving home with this 2003 Maserati Corsa. It was like the best day of my entire life. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. This was a 4.2 liter V8. It had around 400 horsepower and like 350 pound-feet of torque. It basically had a Ferrari motor in it. And if you've ever popped the hood on one, I mean, it looks straight out of a Ferrari. So it was crazy. It was just crazy. I don't even know. I drove it to school. I got a whole bunch of hate. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. I got a whole bunch of hate. It was a good experience. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't have traded it for anything in the world. The power, the way it handled in the corners and stuff. It was just a fun car. You know, it was just a fun car. So this car basically got me through most of junior and senior year. I absolutely loved this car. And, you know, I took it to all the senior dances, I took it to prom, I took it to homecoming, and it was just a crazy experience. I won best car in the senior lot with it, and it was just something I'll never forget. You know, some people thought it was really awesome and they wanted to see the car and ride in it and stuff, and then some people just hated me. Like, it got to the point where I was sitting in the parking lot one day and they didn't even know I was in my car. People would just walk by and they would just flip off my car. And I would just sit in my car and look out my rearview mirror and just like wonder, like, I don't even know, but people are weird, but I kind of understand. But, you know, it still doesn't help what happened. So I'll never forget, November 5th, I woke up and someone had come to my house and they egged my car, they egged my window, and they silly stringed my car, and it said, you know, F you on the hood and stuff. So I was just like shocked, you know, kind of, not really, but at the same time, like, I was trying to think of who would have done this. You know, I didn't really know anybody that would have done this. I didn't have many enemies. I tried to be cool with everybody, so I never honestly to this day found out who it was. I asked like a whole bunch of people I thought who it was, but no one ended up confessing. And I think it was because what ended up happening was a lot worse. I went and I got in the car that day to go wash it, and I washed everything off of that car. And from the car wash, on my way to go pick up my friend, I ended up getting in an accident and I ended up totaling that car. And I think to this day, like, if that car wouldn't have been silly stringed and it wouldn't have been egged, I probably wouldn't have done that day, you know? I'd probably still be driving it. So it's like, I can't say the person that did that is the reason I don't have that car anymore, but, you know, it's always interesting to me, like, if it just would have been a different day, or just like it just wouldn't even have happened, you know, I'd still have that car. Like, I was so emotionally attached to that car. When I got in that accident, I jumped out of the car. I was okay. It wasn't too fast. It was only like a 10-mile-an-hour accident. I ran to the other car. It was a Prius, of course. It's always a Prius. And I checked to see if they were okay. They were fine. They had 2 kids in the back seat. They were okay. They had just hit the grocery store, and so they were getting all the groceries out of their car because their Prius, the batteries were all messed up, so they couldn't drive it. And my car wouldn't even start. It was like 10 miles an hour, but it was enough to, you know, crushed the front end in a little bit, and I think it bent the frame and stuff. So there's so many things I remember from that day that I haven't really like thought about, or I haven't told anybody, but like I remember standing there. I didn't know what to do. I was so young, honestly. I was 17 years old. I called my dad. You know, I was like, Dad, what? I didn't even know, you know, the police are probably coming. I don't know what to do. I don't know, like, my insurance and stuff. I was so young. I'm 23 years old now, so you can kind of put that in perspective. I had my girlfriend with me, and she was in pajamas and like slippers, so it was just not good situation. We got out of the car. My dad ended up coming by. We called the tow truck. They towed the car away. And I never thought, honestly, to this day, like I never thought that would be the last time I saw that car. Literally. And it's sad, unfortunately. There was stuff I didn't get to get out of it. I had pictures in that car that I can never get. They were little Polaroid pictures, and they were up in the little visor. I'll never be able to get those pictures back. There was a little Maserati emblem on the front of the car, and it was just so cool looking. And I remember looking everywhere. Right after the accident, I was looking everywhere for this little Maserati emblem, because if the car was gonna be gone, I wanted it. Honestly, like I wanted something. And so I have one little piece. I have the washer cap. I found it on the ground. I was looking everywhere for this Maserati piece. And I looked under the car, I looked everywhere. The tow truck driver had already been there, and he had started sweeping up all the debris off the ground. And so I was looking everywhere. I looked in the bucket. There was no Maserati emblem anywhere. And I mean, things don't just literally disappear. I just know that tow truck driver ended up pocketing it because it's probably worth something. But it's just unfortunate, you know? I always think about that. But I'm sure somebody fixed the car for like less than a few grand, and they're driving it right now. I bet they're loving that car. So it's just an unfortunate situation. Anytime you can try to avoid an accident, please do. Whether even if it's the person behind you's fault, it is not fun losing a car, or even just having your car go to the shop. You know, it's just, I was out of a car for like 2 months after that, you know? So it's just not worth. So, you know, anyways, I don't know. I hope this wasn't a depressing story, but it was just a story I wanted to tell you guys. I hope you learned a little bit about me and a little bit about my past life with my cars. And yeah, I'll probably end up getting another one of those cars someday, because it was just an amazing experience. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you watched the end of this video, seriously, thank you so much. Like I don't know, I hope I didn't bore you and the details were abundant and stuff. So let me know down in the comments. Seriously, let me know down in the comments if you like kind of like this longer sit down type video where I tell you guys a story that I have, because I have a few more that I want to tell, but I don't want to bore you guys. So let me know down in the comments. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Drop a comment, drop a like, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future uploads, and I'll see you all later. Peace out.